This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. First, the headlines. Wike Fubara marking the woo foreign investors. INEC gives the certificate of return. Appeal court sacks Kano State Governor. Tinubu cancels 40% IGR deduction from universities. Who wants floor of Gaza patients into Egypt? Tani unveils new album Tears of the Sun. Everton receive immediate 10 points deduction. Welcome back to the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Here is the bulletin in full. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, the Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, and his Oyo State counterpart, Seyi Makinde, have called on foreign investors to consider their domains when picking locations for setting up their companies in Nigeria. The trio spoke in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, during the opening of the Hypercity 3, a chain store in Nigeria on Friday. The minister said government alone cannot provide jobs for Nigeria's teeming youth unless the private sector steps in. He promised to provide lands and a conducive environment for investors to thrive in the territory and contribute to the development of the nation's capital. Governor Fubara, on his part, said it is now on record that when Hypercity 3 was commissioned, he was also part of it. He reiterated his administration's desire to continue to uplift the development of the states based on consolidation. In his plea, Governor Makinde appeals to the MD of Hypercity to give him land free and tax holiday to provide security, adding that Oyo State is the gateway of the southwestern part of Nigeria. Governor of Rivers State Siminalayi Fubara has reiterated his commitment to restructure and move agriculture in the state to the next level. To this effect, the governor has appointed Victor Key to man the affairs of the sector and help in upholding the desires of the present administration in diversifying through agriculture and ensuring value food chain in the state. It will be recorded that Governor Fubara at the exhibition and town hall meeting for all farmers in Rivers State themed the training and support of young entrepreneurs, corporate and commercial organizations, research institutions willing to engage in commercial farming. The governor, who was represented by the acting permanent secretary, Rivers State Minister of Agriculture, Maurice Ogolo, said his administration will support fish and other aquatic farming and livestock farming. He called on all farmers, stakeholders, captains of industries and key players to contribute in making food security achievable in the state. Rivers State Judiciary has threatened the contempt charges against the chairman of Emoha local government area if he continues to disrespect the office and person of the Chief Judge of Rivers State, Justice Simeon Chibuzo Amadi. The Chief Registrar of Rivers State Judiciary, David Ihua Maduenyi, at the media briefing said it is false and misleading for Honorable Lloyd to say that Woburoke Wosu, popularly called Abionto, was among those granted pardon by the Chief Judge. He stated that he has gone through the list of persons released by the Chief Judge during the various jail delivery exercises since he assumed office from May 2021 till date, and that the name of Woburoke Wosu is not on the list. The CRO, however, expressed worry that Honorable Lloyd keep bringing the name of the Chief Judge into the release of Woburoke Wosu as if he have issues with him. Maduenyi advised Honorable Chidi Lloyd to stop mentioning the name of Honorable Justice Simeon Chibuzo Amadi in the issues concerning insecurity of Emoha local government area to avoid being charged for contempt. Meanwhile, the lawyer to Woburoke Wosu, John Worry, also confirmed that his client was not freed during a jail delivery exercise, but he was discharged and acquitted in a case involving his family on June 13th, 2023 by Justice I.R. Minakiri of the State High Court. High Court sitting in Port Harcourt, presided over by Justice Sika Henry Apuroku, has remanded the former chairman of Ahoda East Local Government Area, Chief Cassidy Ikegbidi, and over 50 suspects to Port Harcourt Correctional Center over the alleged murder of late DP of Ahoda East Local Government Area, SP Bako and Bashir.
I think those allegations were already put out. And immediately that murder happened, I think it is to everyone's note that, what's it called, the GSS had them Chief Cassidy in the custody for a reasonable period of time back there in Abuja before, I think, transferring back to Port Harcourt. However, I think these issues are, if they are being reminded, to me, to a large extent, if they are suspected or fingered in one way or the other, is a very welcomed one. But my major and bigger concern is the fact that I think on the eve of Sunday Eve, Tubaba and his gang equally came into the community, and I think 5 persons were murdered, 5 persons were killed. Now one would ask, in a serious situation of this nature, with a bounty already placed on the head of the person, that the police force should have been able to keep a special squad within that territory or that environment, manning guard, especially because the person is not going to go to northern Nigeria, so to speak.
The analyst therefore advised the police authority to ensure justice is meted to the perpetrators of the crime.
Into the community with such brazen confidence and murder 5 persons and go on unimpeded in that manner, and I don't think, for me, I do not. I think I have every reason to fault the security structure and what has been done so far. However, I am one person who believes that the rule of law, as it ought to have been in a country like ours or anywhere in the world, should have always been upheld at all times. But we have seen funny situations around here. More so, I would want to plead that whoever is involved in all of this, the police does the needful and bring them to justice. But not failing to realize or remind us that people have been told, we have been told that people are in custody, and at the end of the day, some people have some immunity kind of. They equally have access to leave the prison and possibly appear when people need them to appear. But as it may, there's so much corruption in the country, so much possibility of very nefarious things to happen on very serious matters of this nature. If
Rivers State Police Command has confirmed that Akita Hector Chidem, Public Relations Officer, Independent National Electoral Commission has issued a certificate of return to the Bayelsa State Governor and candidate of the People's Democratic Party. Delta State Governor Right Honorable Sheriff Bravery says his administration is committed to ensuring excellence, process-driven and result-oriented governance for the people of the state. Governor Bravery stated this at the 2023 Delta State Executive Council retreat held at Mariam Babangida Leisure Park, Asaba. He said the retreat with the theme delivering the more agenda for advancing Delta State strategies and enablers was necessary to ensure that ministries, departments, and agencies of government align their programs and activities with the administration's policy focus. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has initiated the disbursement of salary arrears spanning 8 years for judiciary workers in the state. The governor's chief press secretary, Kazie Uko, disclosed this in a statement saying the concerned workers, owed since January 2015, had engaged in an indefinite strike against the previous state government prior to Oti's assuming office on May 29th. Uko highlighted that the workers' demands included the confirmation of Justice Lillian Abai as the substantive chief judge, who had been in the acting capacity for over 6 months. Other demands comprise the settlement of arrears under the consolidated judiciary staff salary structure, leave allowances, and the establishment of judicial autonomy. The statement also outlined that the prior administration had only fulfilled one of the 4 demands, confirming the chief judge after then. Governor-elect Oti pledged to do so following his inauguration. According to the governor's spokesman, the Abia State government has kept its promise by consolidating salary arrears to JUSUN members. Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, Commissioner of Police Anambra State Aderemi Adeoye has cautioned residents against taking laws into their own hands by engaging in jungle justice. Adeoye said the command would no longer condone situations when people engage in jungle justice by lynching suspects to death without trial. The Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Tochukwu Ikenga, in a statement quoted the police commissioner on Friday as saying that perpetrators would be charged with murder. He described any mob lynching of crime as and worse than their victims. The PPRO said 2 suspects have been arrested for involvement in a recent mob lynching that resulted in the death of suspected criminals. Adeoye commended Anambra residents for their eternal vigilance and cooperation for peace and security in the state, but enjoined them to report to the police. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Lagos State Command, have averted an oil pipeline explosion that would have led to the destruction of lives and properties in Alimosho, Lagos State. This is contained in a statement signed by the State Command's Public Relations Officer, DSC Oluwaseun Abulurin, on Friday. Abulurin said that the incident also meant to vandalize the oil pipelines of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation in Liberty Estate and its environs, Alimosho local government area, and was averted on Thursday. He said that this was in line with the zero tolerance of the Commandant General NSCDC CG Ahmed Audi to prevent all forms of economic sabotage in Nigeria. Abulurin said the Lagos State Commandant appreciated the inhabitants of the community for offering prompt, credible, and actionable intelligence to what would have had a negative impact on the community. 1 person died on Friday when a commercial bus rammed into a truck along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The Federal Road Safety Corps confirmed the incident to newsmen in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Florence Sokwe, the FRS's spokesperson in Ogun State, told our correspondent that the incident occurred at about 6 p.m. after Danko filling station. According to her, 3 persons were involved in the crash, all male adults, while 1 person died in the crash. 2 others were rescued with no injury. She added that the corpse was deposited at the Idera morgue in Shagamu, Ogun State. Appeal Court has sacked Labour Party Olukayode Doherty and declared the All Progressive Congress Rauf against held an earlier ruling by the Election Petition Tribunal. The tribunal had ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to present Suleiman with a certificate of return as the winner of the election. The court held that the Electoral Act 2022 does not allow a candidate to be declared winner if the candidate did not fully participate in the election process. Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has appointed Emmanuel Abo as the state's Auditor General. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the governor's chief press secretary, Mr. Teso Kula, on Friday. Until his appointment, Abo was the Director of Audit in the Office of the Auditor General. According to the statement, the appointment takes immediate effect. The statement added that Abo has 3 degrees, a Master's in Development Studies, a Master's in Business Administration, and a Bachelor in Accounting. He belongs to several professional bodies, including Institute of Development Administration of Nigeria, Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, and the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria. Independent National Electoral Commission has presented certificates of return to the governor-elect of Kogi State, Usman Ododo, and his running mate in the election, Joel Salifu. The certificates of return were presented at the INEC headquarters in Lokoja, the state capital, on Friday, amid jubilation by a mammoth crowd of supporters. While presenting the certificate, the Kogi State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Gabriel Longpet, said the presentation was part of the Commission's mandate. The leader of the All Progressive Congress had won the November 11th off-season governorship election in Kogi State with a wide margin, having polled 446,237 votes to defeat Murtala Jakar of the Social Democratic Party, who came second with 259,000 votes, 59,052 votes. The Domelaye candidate of the People's Democratic Party scored 42,362 votes. Speaking shortly after receiving his certificate, the governor to build on his plea before the appeal court. On plea number 1, the appellant pleaded that the election be nullified because the forms and booklets used in the election were not properly filled. The court ruled that the appellant failed to prove this allegation with needed evidence. The court also ruled that the appellant failed to state the polling unit involved in the said allegations and that he was unable to state what was missing in the forms. It further held that the appellant was unable to prove how the said verdict of the tribunal led by Justice Oluyemfere. The lower court had declared 165,663 votes of Yusuf, who contested under the New Nigeria People's Party, invalid on the grounds that they were not signed or stamped by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The governor's votes were then reduced to 853,939, whilst those of Nasir Ganuwa, his All Progressive Congress rival, remained at 890,705. Yusuf had rejected the tribunal verdict, which he described as unfair and a miscarriage of justice.
To make inquiries, so I was able to get what I want.
Something has to be done about this thing. Look at this situation. People like me, I have over 2 cars. I'm trekking. Can you afford spending 5,000 naira in a day to fuel your car? It's not possible. It can't work. And I'm talking about myself. There are several other people that are doing the same thing. This kind of thing has never been talking about subsidy, but it was rushed, and here we are. Prices of almost everything has skyrocketed to the extent that it's so unbelievable. I talk about rice, talk about almost everything. You want to buy sugar, you want to buy this, it's just like a dream. And it's not as if this thing is stopping, it is continuing. There's no way of stopping. Look at the dollar. Every time there's a dollar increment against the naira, you see that it tells a lot about in other goods. Something has to be done. And just like Nigerians, the rest elastic limit, it does have. Maybe we have not reached our elastic limit. Maybe this is a threshold, it's getting a threshold of our elastic limit. The government should do something about it before it gets to the extent that it will explode. At no time have I seen people burning their certificate. It is happening now. It is happening now. Why should a graduate burn his certificate? Why should somebody jump into the lagoon? These are signs of bad times. And the government should see it as a sign that we have reached an extent that something drastic has to be done. No lip service, please. No lip service. Something has to be done. If you don't do it, you just have yourself to blame.
Highly disappointed. We were expecting them to react or respond earlier than any issues is concerned. We are affiliates of Nigerian Labour Congress and we obey the last order from NLC.
Bayelsa State. While addressing a press conference in Kaduna State, Aliyu Sani, the spokesman of the group, says there is no perfect election anywhere in the world, but looking at the antecedents of Saturday election, one will have to agree that INEC and all stakeholders had a free, fair and credible election.
We are here to commend INEC for holding the most peaceful, free, fair and credible elections in Imo State among the 3 states involved in the off-season elections. We equally commend the security agencies for ensuring that voters came out freely to vote in Imo State and other states respectively. Both the security agencies and other institutions involved in the conduct of the election did their very best to ensure that the wishes of the people reflected in the result.
The group faults the reports of Yaga Africa saying that the group is partisan because they suppose the particular candidate is supported. A particular candidate in the governorship election in most states.
Our interest remained how to deepen our democracy with whatever results that were made available to us. As a non-governmental organization, we are not partisan and therefore have no affiliation to any of the political parties. Reports from our field officers indicated that the elections in Bayelsa and Kogi experienced pockets of violence, but not to the point of impugning on the integrity of the results. That of Imo State was completely different, as the election was free, fair, and credible. Going by the fears of many that Imo was a volatile area, it turned out to be false. This is not to say that there was no untoward incident in isolated areas. Some vote buyers were arrested, as already reported by the media, and some people who wanted to disrupt the collation of state results were possibly removed from the hall.
You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this break.
5-4 Empire Entertainment, in collaboration with River State Television, presents International Legendary Grand Award 2023. Theme: The Distinguished Conference, and Academic Beauty Queen Nigeria 2023, Season 5, The Beauty Elect Project, the #1 educational project contest nationwide. Performing Original Stereo Man, GYC, MC Mumu, Odogu Vibes, etc. Host Lady Chinyere Nwabweze, Nollywood star actress, and Emeka Okoye, Nollywood actor, and other special guests of honor. Date: 19th November 2023. Venue: Silver Blaze Garden and Hotel, 39 Eze Baka Baka Avenue, Woji Road, Port Harcourt, River State, Nigeria. Time: green carpet, 4 p.m. Main event, 5 p.m. Tickets: regular, 2,000 naira. VIP, 5,000 naira. Table for 5, 50,000 naira. Gold table, 300,000 naira. Diamond, 1 million naira. For more information, partnerships and sponsorships, please call 0813-359-3563 or 0906-047 4445. You can also email us at 54ckempire@gmail.com. Powered by 54 Empire Entertainment, Eloquent Suite, River State Television, Silver Blaze Garden and Hotels, Wish 99.5 FM, Atlantic Television Network, AIT, and 8 Ball Play Lounge, etc.
On the Global News and Atlantic Television Network, here is the rest of our stories. The Labour Party has stated that the news making the round that the party is working out a merger arrangements with any political party is fake and should be disregarded. The Labour Party National Publicity Secretary Obiora Ifor, in a statement in Abuja, said that it was only a proposal that every Nigerian should be interested in making democracy work. Reacting on 18 Open Conversation, a socio-political analyst, Dr. Obidima, said it is high time the Labour Party reconvene for a way forward, adding that a major plan is not necessary at the moment, rather a plan to move Nigeria in the right direction.
I think Labour, what I will expect from Labour Party is not even going to go into that kind of measure. They PC. It was the darkness we are seeing in the land today for the past 8 years plus. So, PDP or somebody I think who call it for such is also to come together, maybe to edge out APC at the end of the day. What is the objective? Is the objective to capture power? We are not thinking of how to reset this nation. We are not thinking of how to restructure this nation. We are not thinking of how to make this nation a productive, but to hijack power, to take power. And that is what defines our political formations, our political development, our political...
Dr. Obidima blames the Judiciary, Independent National Electoral Commission, the security and other agencies for giving access to electoral abnormalities, which he identified as a cankerworm in the system.
If we have strong judiciary, if we had independent eyes, I don't think we need this kind of a thing. But we see a situation where the political class, especially the ruling party, have a kind of pocketed the judiciary, INEC, military, police, all the national institutions, and the people are left at their mercies. Do you know that today, and which is against the constitution, politicians are being appointed into INEC, and they will give excuses and close their eyes as if it is not right. Nobody questions them. Politicians are being appointed into EFCC, into ICPC. So at the end of the day, patriotism that we are also expecting from Nigeria.
This Hamza Muazu of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, has ordered that the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, be remanded in Kuje prison pending the determination of his request for bail. Emefiele will remain in prison until November 22nd, when the court will deliver a ruling on his bail motion. His lead counsel, Matthew Barker, moved the application for bail, which Timio Yedepo vehemently opposed on behalf of the federal government. After taking argument for and against the application, Justice Muazu said a bench ruling could not be delivered in view. The judges said that he needed a little time to study the authorities and peruse through the experts applied by Emefiele to support his request for bail. Inspector General of Police Kayode Gbatukun has presented a settlement to Group Life Assurance and IGP Family Welfare Scheme benefits amounting to 2.2 billion naira to 613 families of police officers who died in Service. The checks were presented at the force headquarters in Abuja to the beneficiaries as a life assurance scheme funded by the federal government, while the IGP Family Welfare Scheme is funded by the Nigerian Police Force. The IGP charged them to use the money for the benefit of the families left behind by the deceased officers. He said the gesture was a part of the IGP's effort to sympathize with the families of the deceased and also to upkeep their day-to-day life challenges.
Today, the presentation of these checks is a small gesture
Also speaking at the event, the Group Life Assurance CSP Lydia Ame said the funds was raised as a result of the support and dedication of the Inspector General of Police and President Bola Tinubu. In the diaspora has been trying to come home and invest to further boost the economic viability of Nigeria. Stakeholders wide at the 6th Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit in Abuja also called on Nigerians and diaspora to invest in the country. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Musa Dangiwa, during his speech before the launching of the Diaspora Housing Mortgage Scheme, said Nigeria is open to business, particularly in the sector. ATN correspondent Rotimi Adewuye reports.
Because the only way to eradicate corruption in the system is to avoid contact as much as possible. So we are of God automating all this whole process. And by February, when Nigeria
2023 World Toilet Day coming up on 19th November is focusing on accelerating change. Very appropriate as it inspires every individual to take personal action system. The year's World Toilet Day presents an opportunity. This year's World Toilet Day presents an opportunity to bring to consciousness that with just 7 years left, the world has to walk on average 5 times faster to meet the sanitation target of the SDG 6 on time. This therefore stimulate and support the government and the citizenry to improve and change the narrative. ATN correspondent at Abuja, Joseph Moses reports.
During the ministerial media break,
President Bola Tinubu will leave Abuja for Berlin, Germany, where he will take part in the G20 Compact with conference on Monday, November 20th. A statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajurin Gelali, said the CWA conference is being hosted by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. According to the statement, President Tinubu will during the conference join other heads of state and government of CWA member countries, bilateral partners, as well as heads of international organizations to deliberate on the immediate enhancement of economic and business cooperation with a view to outlining concrete measures to boost investment in critical areas such as energy, trade, infrastructure, and new technologies, among others. The President will be accompanied by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, the Coordinating Minister of Economy and Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, the Minister of Trade, Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, and the Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu. The statement further revealed that the President Tinubu will return to the country following the conclusion of the conference. Here is the business news for announced the cancellation of the automatic deduction of 40% from the federal university's internally generated revenue. Minister of Education Tahir Man conveyed the President's announcement during his speech at the 75th Founders' Day ceremony of the University of Ibadan on Friday. In October, the Ministry of Finance had notified the academic institutions nationwide of its plan to automatically deduct 40% from their IGR. This move generated mixed reactions, especially from the academic staff union of universities and other stakeholders. ASU had, in a statement signed by its national president, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, explained that universities were not revenue-generating agencies, saying that the obligatory fees paid by students were to provide the necessary tools for them to be properly educated. And now to the international tidbits. Zimbabwe has declared a state of emergency in the capital Harare over a cholera outbreak. The outbreak has so far killed dozens of people with more than 7,000 suspected cases. The city authorities say the outbreak is spreading throughout the city has invoked memories of a deadly outbreak in 2008 in which thousands died. Health authorities have been struggling to contain the high number of admissions following the outbreak, according to the International Federation of Red Cross. Cholera and acute diarrhea Infection is caused by consuming food or water contaminated with bacterium Vibrio cholerae. In 2018, the country declared a state of emergency after 20 deaths and more than 2,000 cases related to typhoid and cholera were reported. Sudan has called for the immediate withdrawal of the United Nations peacekeeping mission in the Horn of Africa country. In a letter sent to the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the Sudanese military government demanded the UN's mission known as Integrated Transition Assistance Mission in Sudan to be discontinued immediately. The mission has more than 400 mainly civilian employees. The government said that while it called for the withdrawal, it was committed to constructive engagement with the United Nations. An armed conflict broke out in the country in mid-April. The conflict involves fighting between the army led by the facto president Abdel Fattah al-Burhan against the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary under Hamdan Daglo. The two generals had jointly seized power in a coup in 2021 but fell out over how to share control. World Health Organization has called for a regular flow of patients to be allowed out of Gaza for treatment in Egypt to relieve the pressure on overwhelmed hospitals. The World Health Organization said a system needed to be set up to get priority cases out of the besieged Palestinian territory. 25 out of 36 hospitals in the Gaza Strip are not functioning and the remainder are struggling to provide the services. Addressing a press briefing in Geneva, he called for daily sustained, orderly, unimpeded and safe medical evacuations of critically injured and sick patients into neighboring Egypt. Speaking via video link from Jerusalem, Peppercorn said 50 to 60 patients a day ought to be transferred into Egypt where they will get and deserve the right to treatment and care. Israeli troops carried out building by building searches at Gaza's main hospital Al-Shifa after a communications blackout in the Palestinian enclave compounded fears for civilians trapped inside the facility. Israel has vowed to crush Hamas in response to the group's October 7 attack, which killed 1,200 people, most of them civilians, and saw about 240 taken hostage, according to Israeli officials. European Union's executive arm says it was told its services to stop advertising on Elon Musk's social media platform X, formerly Twitter, after a surge in disinformation and hate speech. European Commission spokesman Johannes Bach said the country has seen an alarming increase in disinformation and hate speech on several social media platforms in recent weeks, and X is certainly quite affected. Barker said that only X was affected so far, and that the move was targeted at advertising and did not mean European Union accounts were abandoning the platform. The order from the European Commission comes after a separately launched if it has allowed the spread of disinformation around the Israel-Gaza conflict. The probe was one of a raft launched by Brussels against internet giant under Europe's new Digital Services Act, which requires them to crack down on content deemed illegal. The Commission's move also follows questions over its alleged use of targeted advertising on X to promote proposed legislation aimed at obliging messaging of child abuse. And now entertainment news. Nigerian pop star Teniola Apata, better known as Tenny, has unveiled her highly anticipated sophomore album, Tears of the Sun. The 16-track album was released on Friday under her newly established record label, Sugar Mommy Records. Tears of the Sun marks a significant chapter in Tiny's musical journey, showcasing her growth as an artist and her ability to seamlessly blend diverse genres and influences. The album features a captivating blend of Afro-pop, Afrobeat, and high life rhythms, infused with Tiny's signature powerful vocals and captivating melodies. The album's lead single, No Days Off, was released in May 2023 and gained momentum, setting the stage for the album's highly anticipated release. Tani followed up with two more singles, Lanke and Malaika, further solidifying her position as a force to be reckoned with in the Nigerian music scene. Tears of the Sun features collaborations with renowned artists, including Made Kuti, Odumodu Black, and the French Cameroonian singer Tay-C. Famous Nigerian singer Divine Ikuba, popularly known as Rema, has finally addressed the allegations that he used satanic Illuminati symbols while performing on stage at his headline concert in London O2 Arena on November 14, 2023. Recall that Rema sold out the 20,000 capacity O2 Arena on Tuesday, joining Wizkid, Davido, Burna Boy, and Asake as the only Africans to sell out the world's busiest music arena. Some fans who attended the show accused Rema of satanism on social media, saying he used Illuminati symbols. However, reacting via his ex-handle, the Edo-born superstar explained that the artificial horse he rode on stage with was a replica of a Benin artifact, and the mask he wore was a replica of the famous Queen Indian mask. Popular Nigerian singer Aziz Fashola, known as Naira Marley, and show promoter Sam Larry have been released from detention by the Lagos State Police Command. Naira Marley and Sam Larry were released after meeting their bail conditions. Their release was confirmed by the spokesman of Lagos State Police Command, Benjamin Handain, on November 6. A magistrate court sitting in Yaba, Lagos State, granted Naira Marley and Sam Larry bail in the sum of 20 million naira with 3 sureties. The duo were arraigned and remanded on October 6 over their alleged involvement in circumstances surrounding the death of a popular singer, Ilere Oluwa Aloba, popularly known as Mobad. The magistrate Adeola Olatunbosun told the defendants to submit their passports and ordered that they are to report weekly to State Criminal Investigation Department, Fancy. But confirming their release, Handain said Naira Marley and Sam Larry, having met the bail conditions, have been released. Here is ATN Sports News for tonight. Nigeria forward Victor Osimhen has been included in the 10-man shortlist for the 2023 CAF Men's Player of the Year. The Confederation of African Football announced nominees on their official X platform on Friday. CAF released a 30-man shortlist for the award 2 weeks ago. The list is expected to be further pruned to 3 before the award ceremony. Osimhen is the overwhelming favorite to claim the award following a superb 2022-2023 campaign for Napoli. The Nigerian international scored 26 goals in 32 league appearances to help the Partenope win their first league title in over 3 decades. The 24-year-old registered 5 more goals in the UEFA Champions League. The striker was also the top scorer in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying series with 10 goals. His Napoli's teammate Frank Zambo Anguissa, Vincent Abubakar, Riyad Mahrez, Mohamed Salah, and Akraf Hakim are also on the shortlist. Other nominees are Sadio Mane, Yassin Bono, Sofian Amrabat, and Yusuf and Nesiri. The city of Marrakech, Morocco, will host the 2023 CAF Awards Gala on December 11. English Top Flight has announced that Everton have been docked 10 points breaching Premier League financial rules. The league referred Everton to an independent commission in March for an alleged breach of its profitability and sustainability rules. Clubs are allowed to lose a maximum of £105 million over a 3-year period of face sanctions. The punishment, the biggest sporting sanction in the competition's history, leaves Everton 9th in the table. Everton issued a statement saying they were shocked and disappointed by the ruling, announcing their intention to appeal. Meanwhile, Manchester City and Chelsea are facing the possibility of relegation from the Premier League. This follows Everton's 10 points deduction on Friday, which has set a powerful precedent. The punishment has seen Toffees plunge into second bottom of the table